much. I want to bring in Sean Duffy now, Fox News contributor and former Republican congressman of Wisconsin. Thank you so much for talking to us. Always great to see you, Sean. First of all, let's just talk about the president's reaction or inaction and lack of reaction, if you would, over these protesters. You know, everyone has a right to protest. This is a little different than just protesting, okay? They are actually fighting for their lives in this country in a communist regime where they want to be silenced, and the president there is basically being called to be ousted because of the abuse and the human violations, human rights violations that these poor people have suffered for the entire 3 years of this pandemic, being silenced no more.
Yeah, Julie, they're not just protesting, as Ted Cruz mentioned in the lead up to our segment. They're risking their lives. They're risking being tortured. And so this administration is oozing weakness here. Ronald Reagan is rolling over in his grave that we don't have a U.S. president standing up for those who are fighting for freedom. And you look at the response, it begs the question, Julie, does the Biden administration stand with communism or freedom? And the weak response makes me believe they stand with freedom. And I look at China and go, listen, this country has not just stole our technology, they stole our jobs, they brought us COVID, they threatened their neighbors, they're threatened the independence of Taiwan. And Joe Biden has said nothing. And I think it begs the question, is Biden compromised? Because I think the outrage from both sides of the aisle is a U.S. president has never behaved like this when people are on the streets fighting for their own freedom. I mean, the Chinese are being locked in their homes. They're being welded in their homes. They're being separated from their families over the zero COVID policy. These are the very basic human rights that we all demand, that they're asking for. And this is the tepid, weak response. One last point. It doesn't surprise me because Joe Biden's donors, and he's filled his cabinet up with people who are the Davos crowd, the group that believes in this one world government. And they believe that the Chinese model is the wave of the future, not freedom, but totalitarianism. Communism is the path for the future. And so when you try to criticize China, they're like, well, this is what we should be like, which is absolutely frustrating for a freedom-loving American.
Yeah, this is actually an example to the entire world of what the world should not look like. Listen to this Virginia mother who survived the revolution there and had this warning.
The CCP was born from violence. In its 75 years of regime, it used the violence. It killed up to 100 million Chinese. It would not give up its power voluntarily. It would not. It would use any way necessary, any means necessary to stop the protest.
And this is a Washington Post opinion piece which writes, and I quote, "I was there when the Chinese Communist Party sent in troops to gun down the protesters, and I fear that history can repeat itself today. The world should not underestimate the determination of Xi and the CCP to remain in power." I mean, this is absolutely despicable. And these protesters, once again, they are fighting for their lives. But this is 3 years of them being silenced, 3 years of lockdowns, which, by the way, the United States did, in fact, follow suit. And look where it got us. Look at our economy because of all the businesses that couldn't actually flourish. And instead, now we're paying the price in the midst of inflation and on the brink of a recession. So when you look at what's happening in China, how does the United States not only decry against the violence, but not stand up for the protesters? Don't remind me that they have the right to free speech. It's much more than that, Sean.
Listen, that is so weak. But as you mentioned earlier, that the Chinese had no problem criticizing America in regard to gun violence, criticizing us in regard to our COVID response. But Joe Biden doesn't have the heart to criticize China in regard to free speech. In the clip you played there, we have a former Chinese citizen who says, listen, they acquire power through violence. No doubt they do, because people don't give up their freedom unless it's taken from them. And one of the reasons why they can't push back, Julie, is the people don't have guns. They can use rocks or frozen bottles, but they don't have firearms in China. Communism takes firearms away because it's the people's ability to fight back and push back. They did it in Cuba, in Venezuela, and the left in America wants to do the same thing here. We want to have a totalitarian government, no firearm to push back. Our founders were brilliant in how they set up our Constitution and our freedoms for speech and gun ownership. These folks have very little ability to fight back and push back against the Chinese, who are willing to use all kinds of power to suppress the protests.
Yeah, and speaking of pushback, the president should be pushing back, not cowering to China. Yeah. I want to move on to House 100%. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. He is putting his foot down when it comes to the vote for House Speaker in January, of course. He's also facing some resistance, though, from a handful of conservatives in his very own party. He issued this stark warning. Watch.
We want to make sure that everybody has input, but we have to speak as one voice. We will only be successful if we work together, or we'll lose individually. And if we don't do this right, the Democrats can take the majority. If we play games on the floor, the Democrats can end up picking who the speaker is. So I think at the end of the day, calmer heads will prevail.
The so-called Fed Up Five, as they are called, have said they will not support McCarthy's bid for the gavel. They include Andy Biggs, Matt Gaetz, and Ralph Norman. Those three say nothing can change their decision to vote against him. Why are they so adamantly voting against him? Because if they do understand this, and like he said, if they don't vote for him, then the Democrats could potentially make this decision, and that's the last thing the GOP wants.
So listen, Julie, this is a team sport. You got to stand together or you will fall apart. Listen, those three are friends of mine. They don't want Speaker McCarthy, but the rest of the conference does. Get on board, because if it's not McCarthy, you have no other option. There's no one waiting in the wings, and Kevin McCarthy's right that you will give seed power back to Democrats, back to Nancy Pelosi to pick the next speaker. Let's do this together. The majority, the vast majority of the conference wants Kevin. Get on board. You can't have rogue players when you have such a tight majority in the House. You all got to play as a team. They got to be a team player.
All right, Sean Duffy, great to see you. Thank you so much for talking to us. Appreciate it.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.